Hey, it's your close personal friend, Lou Brutus here. And recently, I made my return as host of Rockfest in Cadott, Wisconsin. What you're going to see now is a compendium of video clips of my backstage interviews. Spoke with all the stars, including my old friend Dan Donegan of Disturbed. Roll it, Smokey. Well, this gentleman plays in a band I've known since they were snot-nosed kids, wet behind the ear, opening up for everybody on Ozfest. Those were some good days, by the way, weren't they?
Those were great days. Some of our favorite memories. Driving in the RV and playing at 10 in the morning on Ozfest. Amazing.
Dan Donegan of Disturbed is my guest. By the way, put her there, man. Congratulations on Hey You. New tune video dropped today. That's got to be a pretty exciting thing for you, even after all the great records you put out.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, we haven't recorded since before COVID, so to have new material and get back in the studio and just, exciting just to work again and be creative again. So, yeah, we're excited it's finally out.
I know I can't really pin you down on anything exact, but what's the general plan for new music?
Well, yeah, the single dropped today, obviously, and in the video, official video, and then we'll have the album's done, so it'll drop in the fall sometime. So we haven't confirmed the date, but you'll get news soon.
Oh, very excited for it. And again, I'm hoping maybe we'll see something new today, but I won't try and pin you down on that either. And let me ask, is everybody's families okay? Because again, I've known you guys and your lovely families and kids for many, many years.
Everybody's good. I got my daughter and son out here today for the show. Mike's got his kids out here. I think I haven't seen David yet because he had to fly in. We came in separately. I don't know if he's bringing his wife and kid or not, but we'll find out shortly.
Well, Dan, it's always great to see you. Congratulations. Right. The new tune is really superb, and it's always great to see you live. Next up is Disturbed here at Rockfest. We'll see you in a few. Once again, backstage at Rockfest in Cadott, Wisconsin. What are you doing over there? Hey, we're back with you. Yeah. We're rocking at Rockfest, kids. And we're rocking with Dokken. No, we're rocking with Dead. Joe Cattell is my guest. Joe, it's great to see you. How are you, man?
Good to see you. I'm doing well, brother. It's good to be in your presence again.
So some nice festivals for the summertime. It's kind of fun. We have neighboring cabins, so we're neighbors here.
The cabins are awesome. They were super nice, like that industrial floor, and I was very impressed. Very impressed.
Now you've played some of the greatest gigs in the world. You've played not great gigs, and I don't want you to have to call anybody out and embarrass anybody, but tell me about a total shit Spinal Tap backstage horrible experience. You got anything for me?
Wow. Well, there's been a lot of those. I mean, as far as like Spinal Tap, like us wandering around aimlessly, like which stairway is it? There's probably too many to even think of. There's a lot of venues that are hard. I mean, the House of Blues in Chicago is pretty rough. You park like below in right, and then you're in like the Ninja Turtles sewer home down there. Pretty much it looks like, and then I think they call it the House of Stairs or something. So that one's pretty whatever. But I don't know. I'm trying to think of anything. It happens more often than people would think. I think and a lot of our friends too. I mean, it just happens. You just don't know where you're going. You wake up in a new place. And then you know the stage is somewhere. You can hear like the kick drum or something, so you're like kind of following your ear. And so it happens a lot.
And in the House of Blues in Chicago, which by the way is an awesome venue, and they have great food. They're wonderful people. Did you ever like run for the stage? And it's like trying to get out of the mines of Moria in the Lord of the Rings, and you realize that the bridge at Khazad-dûm is down here, and you're up here with Gandalf, and you don't know how to get,
Sometimes, and I've done that too. Sometimes I'll like climb up the wall or do some, I'll do some weird stuff. You get Spider-Man on it, you know what I mean, just to get there, figure it out. So yeah, it's all good though.
This is once again a reminder of why the truly the greatest line in the film Almost Famous is not "I am a golden god" or any of that. It's everyone thinks it's so glamorous out here, because it's not. It's not, is it?
My favorite line is "Don't worry about me. I'm just the lead singer." When they leave him around, that's my.
You ever get left behind someplace?
I've never been left behind. No, it has happened to other people before. To our last guitar player, he got left at a gas station, I think it was somewhere. No, I don't ever get. I'm very prompt and on top of things, so it doesn't happen to me.
Very good. Now then, speaking of organizational skills, tell me about stuff that you're working on right now? Because I think you're starting to at least demo stuff for next year, but how does that work? Where are you at, and what do you think it's going to come out like?
Yeah, we have probably about 10 songs, the pretty quality demos. Kyle, our bass player, has he just got a new recording studio, so we've been using that, which has been amazing. And then Maria and I built a studio in our basement in New York too. So we've been sending stuff back and forth, and I'll go out with the guys and to say what it's shaping up to. And you're always like sketchy to say what I feel like it sounds like, because then people are like, oh, their new album's going to sound like this. But it's still very early in that time, but. It's awesome. It feels a little heavier to me right now, the stuff we're doing. I'm really excited about it. I love writing songs. I love creating music. I love, getting in the room with the guys and just having a good time. And so we're doing that, and there's no rush on it. But we're talking about getting back into the studio early next year. And we'll see what that pile of songs looks like by the time that happens. That's still another 6 to 8 months away, I imagine. Until we get to that, but I'm really excited, and we're really trying to make something that I think is, I don't know how to put it, but like culturally relevant, and something that really is different, and just the coolest thing that I can imagine. That's the idea. So.
And by culturally relevant, do you mean sort of reflecting these, let's say, trying times, unpleasant times?
Well, yes, but not necessarily like political, but just something that I think represents, a freshness, something that I think would resonate with all ages, with the kids, with like underground things, with just something fresh. Just want it to be that way. That's really the intent, is to do something that I necessarily maybe haven't heard, and just make sure that the energy and the lyrics are very potent and very just on the nose. It's hard to put it into words. There's an idea, and I feel like it's happening now when I hear the songs. So I usually like to just let the music speak for itself, because I can say all these things and you could interpret it one way, you could interpret it another way, whatever it is. But we're just trying to push the envelope. I'll say that.
How long do you need to sit with a lyric before you're comfortable enough with it to let other people in on it? Because I know a number of people, any kind of writing, could be songs, could be books, could be anything. You write it, you rewrite it, you come back a month later, oh my God, this is total shit. I thought this was great. I need to rewrite this again. What's it like for you?
Well, that depends. Usually if it's really good, I love it right away, because it's something that's genuine and from the heart, and I'll know it. I'll go, that's something that I believe in. That's something that I would say. That's something that I would sing back to another band if they said it. That's kind of my idea. But then sometimes you'll have something that you'll maybe record on your phone, and then you'll come back to it later, and you'll be like, oh, that was what was, I was smoking that night, and I should, that wasn't as good as I thought it was. Or, oh, I forgot I did that, and that's amazing. So, but usually the really good stuff to me is obvious right away. And the stuff that I have to reach for, and sometimes you have to grind it out to get the right thing, but usually it's obvious. And that's also for when someone hears the song for the first time. I guess my idea then would be that they're a human as well, and they would, if they like the music, they're going to feel that same way. It's going to be instant. They're going to hear it, and they're going to go, yeah, that's how I feel. That's my guy. That he's saying how I feel, in a song, and that's usually the best.
Now then, when you have a song and it's done and you're happy with it and you're proud of it, and then it comes time to do something visual with it, how are you with turning over your work into the hands of somebody else, a video director? How hands-on are on you with the video process?
It varies with who we do it with. Because if someone brings an idea that I'm into, then I'll run with it. I'm into like best idea wins always. You know what I mean? So if someone, like, we did our Kill Beautiful Things video with Mark Klasfeld and Jordan Schur, actually our manager, the three of us kind of dreamt that one up, where like I'm walking through the woods and it's all burning down, and we were talking about.
By the way, I'm sorry to interrupt you. That is a brilliant video, one of the best of the 2000s, and we're here at Rockfest. I first saw that in your manager's car. He's like, dude, you got to see this. It's the greatest video ever. And then we call you up And I'm like screaming, holy shit, and so I'm sorry to interrupt. I had to interject that because we're literally a few hundred feet away from where I watched it the first time. Please continue.
Yeah. I mean, so that was one of those ones where it was like a collaborative thing for sure. We were bouncing around like the idea of like Coldplay Yellow video where it was like a one shot that went the whole way. We were talking about like Beastie Boys, What You Want. And we were talking about a couple different ones. And we're like, let's like, maybe we can mash all this together and make something kind of different or whatever. So that was kind of that one. And, and then honestly, and Maria actually helped on that one too. Cause she was like, we would go out and like walk through the woods together and she would like film me. And so it was really cool. There's like, and that was during COVID time. So it was like, you had to kind of do what you had to do. And that one was great. Sometimes I will have a vision, with a song. It really happens a lot of different ways. Just like when you create anything, sometimes when I hear music, I'll see colors in my mind, or I'll see a vision. And I think when the music makes you see or feel something, then it's good to put that visual with it. So there's no one way that it happens, but I definitely do that. And big fan of aesthetic accompanying music. It's important. And we actually just shot a new music video recently with our good friend Shandan. He's fantastic. He's done like the last few Volbeat videos and a bunch of great stuff. And I'm not sure when that comes out. We just did it. But that one is awesome. That one's there's a vibe to that one that I've wanted to do since I was young, like a kid. And it's got like this great kind of like, I'm not really supposed to talk about it that much, but it's supposed to be, yeah. it's supposed to.
I almost lured him in. I hope you were following along with what I was doing here.
Happening. So that one should be coming out, and I'm super stoked on that one. It's a totally different thing. That's really the thing that we said before we did the Kill Beautiful Things video. Was we said we're not doing the dude standing in the room rocking out thing. Because we've done that and it was fine, but it's just we want to try to do things that are just a little bit different, not just a regular shot of us rocking out. It needs to be more than that, whether it's post stuff or whether it's whatever it is. So this one has a really cool aesthetic to it. I'm really excited about it. The visual aspect of it's really cool.
Excellent. And you mentioned Maria a couple of times, and I've known her a long time too. And she, like I've known you, and I just adore her. But what's your home life like? Because here's what I have in my mind. You two are sitting around, there's lots of dogs, and you write awesome songs, and you're bouncing song lyrics off one another, and it's this idyllic, artistic paradise. Yeah. Is that what the home life is like?
That's exactly exactly like you said. It's absolutely perfect.
You're lying. You're lying. Well, what is home life like? It's so weird because I'm so used to you guys on stage and everything, and but I know, you got to go to the grocery store, you got to get the dog food, and you got to do all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. It is like you said, to an extent, there is all of the things you said happen. I mean, I'll listen to her mixes. She'll listen to my mixes. I'll show her an idea. She'll show me an idea, or like, she'll be jamming on the piano, and I'll just kick it and listen to her play some ideas, and or I'll play the acoustic guitar, and we'll just jam, some, thrice or something and sing together. We do that kind of stuff for sure. Or I've tracked some demo stuff for her. We built a little studio. So, it is very it's very artistic. We're artists, and but it's also very like chill, and we worked on making it like a kind of a haven of relaxation, honestly, because you're out doing all this stuff, you're driving around. You're beat, you come home, and we want to come home and want to have a nice relaxing place. So we really thrive on making it peaceful. That's the key. We want peace. We want relaxation and stuff. That's the vibe there.
You ever play any board games?
Well, we were playing Giant Jenga the other day, actually.
Oh,
so yeah, we did. We were playing Giant Jenga. But I'm trying to think of any other board games. No, we do that, and then we play some like some of those word games sometimes, and we do all kinds of silly stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. We'll give her my best, and I'll see her again soon. And Joe, I know. I just love her, and she has the only tour bus in history that smells like fresh baked cookies. I was like, I don't know how she does it because she's surrounded by smelly rock boys, but God bless her for it. Joe, it's always great to see you. I love seeing you.
You as well, brother. Appreciate you.
It's Joe Catella from Dead, and we are backstage at Rockfest in Cadott, Wisconsin. Hey, it's Lou Brutus backstage at Rockfest 2022 with 3/4 of the Pretty Reckless. Hello, it's good to see you. I'm so glad you're here.
I am so glad to be here. We are so glad to be here. It was a gamble there for a minute, but we made it.
Excellent, good. And how is Ben doing?
He's doing all right. Let's see how the show's gonna go. I think rock and roll cures everything, so we'll be fine.
And how glad are you to be out in the world? Because again, you and I have spoken many, many times about the lovely place you were holed up during the lockdowns up in Maine, and then it was back to New York and back to the world. It's got to feel good.
Feels amazing. It's honestly, it's a breath of fresh air, literally, figuratively, all of that, and we're very excited to be back out on the road.
Now, you're coming off of missing a few shows. Does it take you a song or two to get your sea legs back on stage, or you're right into it and you're fine?
I'll let you know after the show.
And again, what is the rest of this year and into next year going to look like on paper? I know there's all sorts of stuff going on, but how do you think it's going to go?
Touring. I mean, we're out now, and we're out till the end of the year, right? And then I'm sure more touring, and yeah, just playing everywhere. That's
tour some more.
And then tour some more.
And actually, with everything you guys have done, where have you not been yet that you would love to get to? Is there a specific venue someplace that you would love to play?
Specific venue. As I just blank on every venue name. Well, we've never played Hawaii, which I think that would be cool.
Well, see, you need somebody who can MC and photograph that. I would go to Hawaii with you in a moment.
All right. Well, you get with our booking agent. Let's make it happen.
Absolutely.
You jump on the bus with us or the flight or whatever, and it'll be great.
Well, I'm so glad you guys were able to make it. I know it was looking dicey for a little bit.
It was, but we're here and we're stoked.
All's well that ends well. The Pretty Reckless backstage here at Rockfest. They're up in just a few. Hey there, Lou Brutus, back for another day at Rockfest, Cadott, Wisconsin 2022. And my next guest is another artist that unfortunately I have been doing nothing but Zoom and computer stuff with. So it's nice to sit in the flesh with Lilith Czar. How are you?
I'm great, Lou. How are you?
I'm doing okay, and you will forgive me for making a physical comment at first, but you always look like art. I don't even want to say you have a great fashion sense. You look like walking art.
Oh, that's very flattering. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I mean, I think that as an artist, it's just as important, what you put into your music and the create and the visual aspect is it goes hand in hand with your music.
Yeah, you and I had spoken just prior to this that Pete Townsend of The Who was one of the very early artists to understand that it wasn't just about music, it was about presenting a total concept and cohesive whole for a group or an artist.
Absolutely. I mean, it's got to be, a treat for your ears and a treat for your eyes, so to speak. And so I think that, I've pulled a lot of that from David Bowie and Stevie Nicks and I mean even Elvis Presley and the list goes on, but I think that it's really cool when an artist can marry their music with the way that they look.
Stevie, whom you mentioned, is actually having a great summer, and she's done some really awesome festival dates. When you look at an artist like that, somebody who has had longevity, somebody who, of course, makes great music, but also has that cohesive whole, how do you learn from them and not be derivative, but do your own thing with it?
Well, I feel like great artists borrow. That's all I'll say. I think that a lot of artists inspire each other, and they always have through the decades. We've always pulled inspiration from one another, and when you can take something that was someone's and make it your own, I think that you've made it original in your own way.
Are there any artists or other humans in other non-musical parts of the art spectrum that you draw an inspiration from?
That non-musical? Yeah. Well, certainly, fashion, 100%. I think I draw a lot of inspiration from, childhood comics that I would look at, like Sailor Moon, or, anything that I was looking at when I was younger that was super whimsical. My parents, in my parents' house, my mom has all these paintings all over the house of like incredibly strong women, goddesses. So, you know, pretty much growing up, anything that struck me visually kind of just imprinted in my brain. And yeah, I mean, anything I think is beautiful can be inspiring.
That piques my interest about your family life growing up. For example, my late mother was an antiquarian book dealer, so the home was filled with old, interesting books and other antique stuff that came and went. Tell me about the rest of your childhood and also how music figured into it as a kid. What was on the radio, or what did the folks listen to?
Well, it's super interesting you say that because my grandmother was actually an antique seller. She would go to swap meets and stuff, and she sold antique pieces, whether it was art or plates or cups, you know what I mean, what jewelry, all of that. And so, and then when I was younger, my grandma passed down to me and my sister boxes and boxes of like Renaissance looking style clothing, vintage clothing. And so we started at a very young age dressing up. But wait, what was your original question?
You know, I don't remember because we're going down this awesome rabbit hole. Yeah. Oh, I was. Tell me about other music that maybe you encountered as a kid from your older family members.
So growing up, I was. Let's see. I was born in California and in San Francisco. When I was around 3 years old, we moved to San Diego, and my parents, on my dad's side, they were all surfers. So we pretty much lived at the beach, and everybody in the family could play at least one instrument. So every single night there was, you know, acoustic guitar, harmonicas, drum boxes. My aunt is a professional. She's actually a first seat violin player. My grandfather is a jazz piano player, and so, and my brother is a savant. He can play pretty much any instrument. So growing up in my house, it was a jam session every night, pretty much. And
what would be the material that, you know, a bunch of family members get together? Are they doing like, you know, Sloop John B? Or are they doing surf stuff, or are they doing Bach sonatas?
My grandpa maybe Bach. I mean, that was a little too, you know, obscure for my family, but you know, definitely like Simon and Garfunkel, Steve Miller, the Eagles, the Who. Led Zeppelin, Janis Joplin, Aretha Franklin, the Doors. Yeah, I mean it was all the great rock and roll legends.
So how do you take all of this stuff in your life, and then how do you figure out, I want to do my own thing with it? When did you get that moment that you had, okay, this is the vision. This is how I want to present myself to the world?
That took many years. I think that people are constantly learning who they are, constantly evolving and developing their, you know, what it is that they're about, their sound, what they want to say, how they want to look. And that process for me was many records and many years of touring, being in a band, being solo, putting out, you know, EPs, records, changing this, joining that, going back to a solo artist. And then it was in early 2020 where, you know, the fucking world, sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss, the world basically stopped. And it was then that everything kind of caught up with me. And I had the luxury of time and of sitting and thinking of exactly what I want to do, what I want to say, how I want to sound, who I am, all of that, and I was able to put it in a nice little package and present it as Lilith Czar. 100
Little Deaths is an excellent song. It's got a weird but wonderful vibe to it for some obvious reasons, and I think some that are less obvious. Tell me about the song.
Well, I wrote the song about all of the encounters we have in our life that are good or bad, that change you. It could be something like, you know, heartbreak, and that feels like a little death. It could be, you know, cutting out anything in your life that's kind of destructive. That's kind of like a a death of that thing, but a birth of another version of yourself. And so throughout life, we're constantly encountering things that change us for the good or for the bad. But one way or another, it's like it's a death, because you're going to come out the other side changed, another version of you birthed, or a piece of you dead. And so that's something that I've certainly experienced a lot in my life, and that's how this song came to be.
What do you think happens to us when we die?
Honestly, I think that one life, it wouldn't make sense if we just had one life. This planet's too old, and the universe is too big for me to think that we only get 100 years. I think that we fucking come back. I keep cussing. I'm so sorry. Is this going on air? Am I okay? I'm okay. Okay, great. I think that I believe in reincarnation for sure. 100%.
And I can only imagine from the way you phrased that answer that given the photographs that have been coming from the brand new James Webb telescope, the space telescope, that makes the Hubble look like a blurry, binoculars, that's only sharpened that answer that you gave me.
Well, I mean, I also had, like, have you ever had a memory and then you're like, that's not this life?
Well, deja vus I've had before, and I've also had feelings when I've gotten to places that I hadn't been, and I'm like, this looks awful familiar, but I don't know. Sometimes I think maybe I saw a photograph taken from this angle, and maybe it's something that I saw when I was a kid, and it's just salted away. I don't know.
Yeah, and like, have you ever met somebody that you've never met in this life, but you're like, you feel like you know them?
Every time I see a crew member or a tour member backstage, I'm like, wait, we've met? No, I know what you mean. But the serious answer to your question, yes.
Yeah, it's like, and also, like, I don't know, I feel like certain reactions you have to things, I don't know. I just personally feel like there's a part of us that gets like almost erased every time we continue on, and so we're not remembering our past life, but there is some connection there still, whether it's subconsciously something might trigger something that we don't know is from something that happened a long time ago. I don't know. I'm extremely spiritual. I believe that I'm a soul, and I just don't think that I am defined by only so many years.
Well, I hope you're right, because it would seem an awful waste of a very large space that we live in otherwise.
Yes, exactly.
So what is the rest of the year? Now, currently you are out, and I'm going to see you again on this after the festival. You're out with Halestorm and the Pretty Reckless, which I think out of all the things that you have done, I think this is probably the coolest fit for everybody involved.
Absolutely. I mean, we're only about 4 or 5 shows in, but this tour already in 4 or 5 shows is my favorite tour I've done as Lilith so far. Excellent. Yeah, I mean, The Warning too is on this run, and they are just darlings. They're badass. Oh my gosh, I love watching them, and of course Lizzie is like
inhumanly good. Yeah.
She's an alien. She's not a human. Yeah. Lizzie, you are not from Earth. You are from the sky, and I love it.
Well, you have a great set today, and I'll also catch up with you in Baltimore, I think, so that should be fun. Always great to speak to you, and finally in the flesh, really a pleasure.
You too, Lou. Thank you so much.
Lilith Czar, backstage at Rockfest 2022. Hello again, it's Lou Brutus, backstage at Rockfest 2022. Joining me now originally from the rock capital of the world, Red Lion, Pennsylvania, Grammy Award winners, my dear close personal friends, my sister and brothers, Halestorm. Hello. I am so glad to see you, and this is the first time I've seen you in the flesh since the bus fire. And you and I spoke on Zoom that day,
yes.
But that was, we joked about it. That was not really a funny situation.
It wasn't funny at all. The what ifs were real. We were like still buzzing from it in a weird somber way for the next like 2 or 3 shows. But like the silver lining with it though is that we all just kind of like huddled in before every show, like, we're so happy that we're all here together. We all get to go out and do a rock show. And then, you know, literally like RJ said before, like we were playing every show like it was our last show. It was going to be, not to be morbid, but that's how that worked out. So,
You know, for all the ups and downs that go on and all of the spinal tapian moments that occur during a tour to any band like yourselves who are out a lot, are you keeping a journal? Or are you all keeping journals? Because there's going to be an amazingly, really funny and also, I think, very insightful book one day.
I have been since 2009, just like a daily. It's called a 5-year diary, and you just put the date in and the year, and you get like one day.
That was more than 5 years ago, Joe.
Yeah, that is, I'm on my 3rd one, but like you just put some stuff down about the day to remind you, and a short little entry, so totally doable for procrastinator. Like
See,
me.
and Joe, the added advantage for you is you have become an amazing photographer. You take great pictures.
Thank
you. What are you using to get your stuff? Because, by the way, Joe has one of the best Instagram feeds on the service, so go.
All right. No, I'm a nerd, so the Germans make the good stuff.
Very, very, very expensive stuff.
It's a little
Many marks. Those are many marks.
Das ist, yes.
You Americans.
Very much Deutschmark, yeah.
Sehr gut.
It's
And
amazing
RJ,
stuff,
how you
though.
holding up?
Well, I mean, what do you think? How do I look?
You look great. I mean, you look like a lime green nightmare. You look like you stepped out of a Seuss book.
I got 3 words for you and all of you. Are you ready to jazz?
I thought you were going to go into a wrestling thing. Oh, yeah, R.J. Hale, the most important
That was a
man-
wrestling thing.
It was? Who was
Wait, you
it?
didn't tell?
No.
Yeah, it was Jimmy Jazz Hands.
Oh, jeez. They lost me a Chief J Strongbow before you were
He'll
born,
kill you with
so.
a million notes.
And Josh, how's the fam? How are because your kids are growing up fast?
They certainly are, and yeah, they're doing great. Family's good. It's great to be back out on the road, and man, playing rock shows, best job ever.
Well, I'm so glad to see you all in the flesh. Jodawa, RJ, Joe, and Miss Elizabeth.
we love you, Lo.
It's Halestorm here at Rockfest. They're up in just a few moments. Boy, oh boy, it's been too long since I've sat in the flesh with this young lady, Amy Lee of Evanescence.
Kind. Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be back. Good to be back with you in person. Last time it was on Zoom.
How does it feel to be back out in the world?
Really good. Really, really good. It feels really good to be back out on stage. I think everybody's saying the same thing, just that we appreciate it more than ever now that we couldn't have it for a while.
And something a little bit different on stage is you've added somebody who I'm a huge fan. She's such an amazing musician and an awesome person, Emma Anzai.
Yes, we have been fans and friends for years, and I'm very, very, very excited to have her up there. She's singing and playing like a badass, like she always does. It's been really fun. We've only been doing it together for a few weeks, so this is like our 11th show.
So tell me, why is it some people are great musicians, but they're not always great band members?
That's hard to explain. I think for a million different reasons, but it definitely takes a team, for everybody to work together, like to make the whole thing function the way it's meant to, like on stage and off, And we've definitely been through a few different members, but we all just feel very happy and healthy and excited for the future right now and loving the new album. We've got this whole album of great new music that we love that we get to play now, and it's been way too long, so we're just ready to go do that.
You continually put out amazing music and you write really great songs. Some people seem to burn out on writing and making records, and whereas other artists can do it for decade after decade after decade. Why do you think you at this point in your life can still find that vein of song?
I wait for it to come from the heart and the desire to do it. There's always pressure, especially when you're coming off of something good and something big, to hurry up and get back in there and do more and do it again while everybody's paying attention. And I think for me personally, I just kind of recognized within myself that wasn't going to work for me long term, and then I needed to wait to feel some real idea and passion for what's next or for whatever our music is going to be. So we've taken that time. We took the time in between every time. I mean, not every fan's favorite thing about us is how long it takes between our albums. But, sometimes you just have to like live life and find out who you are again and what it is that you have to say before you just start spitting it out.
It's a question, if you've been asked before, I apologize, but if young Amy Lee walked in here and was, still wet behind the ears and excited to get into the music business, what would you say when you grabbed her by the shoulders and you had just a few moments to impart some advice?
Is just trust your gut. Don't be afraid. I think especially in the early days, I was just always, it was just a lot of pressure and fear and a lot of thinking. Something that really cool that comes with age and experience is just giving less of a fuck what everybody else thinks about you. That has been such a great thing in my life. Like every year we go on, I'm like, yeah, I know what I'm doing, and this is the right thing, and it doesn't matter if everybody doesn't get it.
And how was the time down for you? Because again, we did some Zooms and you seemed like you were doing okay, but did you hit any points like I did and many other people did where you felt like, man, the world, this just isn't really a very happy place that I like anymore?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's hard not to think that sometimes these days. There's just a lot going on. But we put that into the album. That's really what The Bitter Truth is for us. It was that outlet to just, say something, to scream something, to find a way to turn something really hard and painful into, something with hope, and something that we love and maybe something that could be good for other people.
And you mentioned how these things can come out of, hard and painful things. Why is it, through the history of humanity, that it seems the greatest art comes out of the absolutely shittiest times in history?
Because that's when we need music. That's what I think. For me, that is when I need music the most, whether it's creating music or consuming music. When I'm at my lowest place, like that is the one thing that can tune into me and feel like it gets me, and there's healing in that. So, yeah.
By the way, I sometimes, when I'm about to leave the house, the way some people will coordinate what they wear, I sometimes coordinate what I listen to based on the mood or the weather. Do you do stuff like that, or am I just nuts?
Oh, no, of course. With music and with clothes and everything. Like, it's like, no, I'm not feeling that attitude today, for sure. And there's so many sides, right, to every person. I think that's the other thing, is like you have to allow yourself to go to all those good places. That's a good thing.
I really like talking to you. You make awesome music, and you're a fun person to pick at their brains. So it's always great to see you, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Can't wait to play.